Hey everyone, this is Gabriel from Flashpricer, and in this quick video, I'm going to walk you through why using a repricer is essential if you're selling on Amazon or Walmart, and why Flashpricer might be the smartest upgrade for your business. So to get started, we're going to walk through what is the buy box. The buy box is like prime real estate on Amazon or Walmart. It's the default seller spot where the customer clicks add to cart. If you're not in the buy box, you're basically on the sidelines. That is where all the sales happen, and that is why you need to capture it. Using a repricer helps you win the buy box more often by automatically adjusting your prices in order to stay competitive 24/7. That way there's no more guessing or manual updates. Flashpricer takes this to the next level. If you're selling on Walmart, Flashpricer for Walmart sellers, that means more accurate data and faster price changes than Walmart's own internal repricer, more control, and tools designed to boost your visibility and profits. And if you're selling on Amazon, Flashpricer helps you win more buy boxes without constantly undercutting prices, which helps keep your margins healthy. And if you're selling on both, Flashpricer simplifies everything with one powerful dashboard. So without further ado, I'm going to walk you through setting up your Flashpricer account and some best practices along the way so that we can help you win more buy boxes, make more sales, and ultimately help you scale your business through the power of automation. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. The first step to setting up your Flashpricer account is connecting a sales channel. When you first come into Flashpricer, you'll be automatically brought to the sales channel page, which is nested under the settings on the left-hand side. And over here, you'll click either to connect Amazon or to connect Walmart. And we also have a drop-down up here as well. Doesn't matter how you get there. So for Amazon, you'll name your sales channel. This is internal to Flashpricer, so you can name it whatever you'd like. You can name it test. We recommend naming it your store name, and then click Connect Amazon account. When that happens, you'll be redirected to Amazon. In order to validate the connection, you'll click a checkbox, click the button to proceed to validate the connection, and from there, your Amazon store will be synced up to Flashpricer. It will take up to 24 hours for everything to fully sync up, although it usually happens a lot faster than that. Same with Walmart. Walmart, you just name the sales channel, click Connect Walmart account, and from here you'll be redirected to Walmart. You'll just click the authorization button, so that way you can authorize the connection between Flashpricer and Walmart. Once that is done, you will see your sales channels connected on this page. Once your sales channels are connected, they will show up directly on the sales channels page, along with the ability to enable or disable repricing at the sales channel level. So if I wanted to fully enable Walmart for my Walmart sales channel, I can click this button over here. Same with Amazon, so I can turn off and turn on. Next, we're going to be setting up your strategy settings. After your marketplace is connected, it will take about 24 hours for everything to sync up. So while that's happening, let's jump in and create a strategy. There's 3 steps to activating repricing in Flashpricer. After your marketplace is connected, of course, you need to create a strategy and assign that strategy to your listings. Your listings need to have, at the very least, a minimum price, preferably a min and a max. And if you're tracking profitability in the software, your costs as well. But really, the only thing for us to go live is a minimum price. And then the very last thing is at the global level, the enable switch has to be on for that marketplace. So from the top down, the global setting needs to be enabled for that marketplace. As we saw before, a strategy needs to be created and assigned to that listing. And at the very least, that listing needs to have a minimum price. Okay, now let's jump into the strategies and set up a strategy for both Amazon and Walmart. We'll go one by one. First, name the strategy, then jump into the sales channel. So for this example, we'll go through Amazon. And here's how these settings are broken down. The first thing you want to set up after selecting your sales channel is who you want to compete against. Typically, you want to compete for the buy box. However, there are options to compete against the lowest price, lowest FBA seller, lowest FBM seller, or specific sellers. In this example, I would choose to compete for the buy box. On the right-hand side, you have the option to ignore certain sellers. So ignore Amazon as a competitor, ignore competitors with certain handling time, higher than a certain amount of days. I like to keep these off and go right into the repricing rules where we define how we're going to compete for the buy box. For example, you can compete against the buy box the same exact way against all fulfillment methods, against FBA seller, FBM seller, or Amazon. I can say, hey, no matter who's in the buy box, match their price, subtract by a certain dollar or percentage. I can say, hey, keep me, a penny below anyone who's in the buy box, as long as my min and max allow it, or keep me a penny above, or a certain percentage above. Or you can actually separate how you compete against Amazon, FBA, and merchant fulfilled, which defaults to this main repricing strategy setting up here once you toggle these on. And now I can say, hey, when competition is merchant fulfilled, match their price. However, when competition is Amazon, I want to be, let's say, $1 below Amazon. And when competition is FBA, I want to be 50 cents below an FBA seller, right? And that way, when FBA is in the buy box, we'll stay 50 cents below them. When Amazon's in the buy box, we'll try to be $1 below. When a merchant fulfilled seller is in the buy box, we'll try to match their price, right? You can also set up a setting for specific seller IDs. Let's say there's a main competitor of yours you want to always compete against a specific way. You just drop their seller ID into here and choose how to compete against them. When buy box is suppressed, when there's no buy box, we need to set up a rule for that. For example, we can say, hey, when buy box is suppressed, I want to compete against the lowest price, lowest FBA, or lowest FBM offer on the listing and match their price. You can also add, subtract, set to min, set to max, or do not reprice. And when there's no competition, you can set to min, set to max, or do not reprice. Once you've acquired the buy box, we have a new set of rules. There's 3 options. There's do not reprice, there's don't lower my price, and there's algo optimize price. Don't lower my price will actually look at your strategy rules above. And so when there's opportunity to raise your price, we will go ahead and do so. Meaning, let's say you're in the buy box at $10, your next closest competitor is at $15, and you're in the buy box, right? We will actually raise your price upwards towards that $15 price. If it was an FBA seller, we would bring you to $14.50, keeping you 50 cents below that $15 price. If it was Amazon at $15, we'd bring you to $14, up from $10. And if it was a merchant fulfilled seller, we would match them at $15. That's how don't lower my price works. Algo optimize price is going to incrementally increase the price of your item all the way up until the max price or until you lose the buy box. And if you lose the buy box, we'll try to go down incrementally, win the buy box back. And once we do, we'll go upwards on smaller increments. The best way to explain these strategy rules is algo optimize. In a more extreme example, is really good for people, let's say, in the collectibles industry, people who care more about profit per sale. Whereas don't lower my price is sort of the best of both worlds, where we'll only raise your price when there's opportunity to do so. And do not reprice, self-explanatory, we won't reprice your item. You also have the option to reprice when your item is out of stock. For example, you can say, hey, I want to match the buy box while I'm out of stock. That way, when I come back in stock, I'm priced into the market. And then the last setting, minimum, maximum pricing. You can manually set your mins and maxes, or you can use any of our calculation-based min and maxes. You have ROI, profit margin, fixed profit. All you do is jump into here, select your minimum and maximum ROI, and then you can click create strategy at the bottom. And do not reprice below minimum advertised price if provided. That is if you have to follow a map. If you have to, then great, you can turn this on. And when you upload your map prices to the software, we won't reprice below it, even if your minimum ROI is set to be below map. Otherwise, you can just ignore this feature if you don't have to follow map. Okay, now let's run through Walmart. First, click Walmart as a sales channel. Next, we're going to choose who we're going to compete against, right? You have the same options here. Instead of FBA, it's lowest WFS. You can also compete against lowest merchant fulfilled sellers, lowest price, specific sellers, or the buy box, which is what we're going to choose in this case scenario. You do have the option to ignore Walmart and ignore specific seller names if you'd like. Down below, you have the repricing rules. So again, you do have the option to compete against all fulfillment methods the same way through this main repricing strategy, or you can toggle these on over here. And now this main repricing strategy is now set to a merchant fulfilled strategy, since we're identifying how we're going to compete against Walmart and WFS. So in this example, I'm saying, hey, I want to compete against merchant fulfilled and match their price. But when competition is Walmart, I want to be $1 below. And when competition is a WFS seller, I want to be 50 cents below. You can also toggle on for specific seller names. So instead of seller ID like on Amazon, we're going to just add their actual name of the seller and then choose how to reprice against them. When buy box is suppressed, Same options here. You can compete against lowest price, lowest WFS, lowest merchant fulfilled, and select how you want to compete against that option. And when there's no competition, you can set to min, set to max, or do not reprice. Again, when you've acquired the buy box, same rules over here. You have do not reprice, don't lower my price, and algo optimize price. Do not reprice, we won't touch your price. Don't lower my price, we'll jump you upwards towards your next closest competitor based off of your strategy rules. So if it's WFS at 15 and you're in the buy box at 10, then we'll bring you to $14.50. If you're in the buy box at $10 and Walmart is at 15, so that's a big enough gap for us to jump upwards and subtract $1 from that price. So we'll bring you to $14 up from 10. If it's a merchant fulfilled seller at 15, we'll match their price. And then algo optimize, we're incrementally increasing the price of your item all the way up until we hit your max price or until we lose the buy box. If you lose the buy box, we'll try to win it back and then go upwards incrementally again. Otherwise, we'll eventually default back to your main repricing rules. When your item is out of stock, you can follow the market while you are out of stock. For example, matching the buy box, staying above a certain dollar percentage, below, setting to min, set to max, or do not reprice. And then your minimum maximum pricing, you can manually set, or you can use any of our calculation-based mins and maxes. All you have to do is jump into here, select the minimum and maximum you would like to make. And once that is done, and you're good to go, you can click create strategy at the bottom, just like this. Once the strategy is created, it'll show up on this repricing strategies page. You can create as many strategies as you'd like. You can even set this strategy as a default for a specific sales channel. So let's say you had multiple Walmart sales channels. You can click this drop down and choose a sales channel for that specific account that you want the strategy assigned to. You can delete, you can duplicate the strategy, and you can edit as well whenever you'd like to. Next, we're going to walk through how to manage the products page within Flashpricer. The only steps left is to assign the strategy to your listings and set up a minimum maximum selling price. So directly within the products page, and let me just break this down very quickly. You have your dashboard up top, broken down by day or 30-day windows. You can hide that dashboard if you'd like. You can even click on a specific day and see all the products that sold on that day, along with any other day those items have sold within that 30-day window. Right off the bat, there's 30 items that sold on this particular day. Now, how to assign strategies and mins and maxes. It really depends. If you're manually setting your mins and maxes, you'll just jump into here and you can type in the mins and maxes yourself. You can just jump in like that. And the strategy will look blank like this, but you can click the drop down and choose which strategy you want assigned to the listing. Another way to assign strategies and mins and maxes and costs are through a bulk upload. I'll go through that process as well. For now, I'll break down the products page and show you how to navigate it. And if you have some questions, we can always run through them. At the top left, you have your search bar. You can search anything from within the SKU, the title of the item, or the item ID. You have all of these preset filters. For example, you can see all items in the buy box, not in the buy box, in stock, out of stock. I would run through these filters and they're layerable, meaning I can say I want to see all items that are in stock, that are in the buy box at this given moment. And I can continue to layer that down by a specific sales channel or by a specific strategy as well, even by search as well. And then I can export that information to a CSV if I would want to slice and dice the data even further or make updates to that information. Down below, you have your listing information. You even have some notes for if you want to add a note about an item, you can click that icon. If you want to see the item on Amazon itself, you can do that. And then you can also look through advanced insights, which gives you deeper analysis of all your products, the repricing history of the last 7 days, order and revenue charts, seasonality, heat maps, repricing events on a particular item. You get orders. This particular item has no orders. So there's a lot that you get out of the advanced insights if you want to dive deep onto a specific product. Within the table over here, you have your strategy. You can look and edit your strategy directly within this UI. You can close that out. To the right of that, you have your cost, min, and max details, the ability to override. The reason why these are showing up in gray is because they're being integrated through an integration You can integrate cost through a Google Sheet, through a FTP or hosted CSV file. It's not required, but it is an option if you prefer to sync that information up with us that way. You also have current price details, and when you hover, there's a breakdown for the current price. You have the ability to edit the current price if you'd like to, although we'll be doing that for you. You have the ability to hover over and see your competition, profit, sales today, sales last 30 days, stock availability at this given moment, the created at date, and the ability to enable or disable repricing at the SKU level. There's a lot of information you get directly on this products page, very nicely laid out for you. A few other things I haven't mentioned is you also have the ability to edit and set a specific FBM shipping cost. And this is where you would set map pricing as well. Again, a lot of information. The most important pieces for you when you're just getting started is just to make sure you assign the strategy to your listing and you set up your mins and maxes. And if you provide us your costs, then you'll get some profitability at the 30-day window and also in your advanced insights at the individual SKU level for particular orders. To wrap up this training video, I'm going to just point out a few other pages within Flashpricer. Within your settings, you have the ability to go to your integrations page. And on the integrations page, this is where you can set up your cost integrations and send us costs, mins, maxes. There's a whole slew of information you can send us. You can send us map pricing, FBM shipping costs, all through an integration. Again, this is optional. All of this information can be uploaded or manually inputted into Flashpricer. On top of that, you have your bulk uploads page where you can download a CSV template or even generate a CSV from your listings, do an upload into Flashpricer. For example, you can upload cost, min and max details. You can upload strategy for a specific set of products. You can change your strategy for a specific set of products, change your cost, mins and maxes. So let's just run through what's available to upload and update within Flashpricer. What I'll do is I'll even run through exporting from the products page. Let's say I want to just grab all items that are in the buy box and I want to change them to a different strategy. So I can export them to a CSV. You click go to my export, and from here it's being processed. Once it's ready to download, I'll click download and I'll open up the report. Let's open up the file. In this file, you have a ton of information over here, but really the fields that you can edit the strategy ID, the cost, the FBM shipping cost, the min and max prices. So all of that information is editable. You also have the ability to edit the repricing enabled field. So if you want to disable repricing on any particular SKU, you can just type no for those. So a lot of ways to edit your information directly within the file that's exported from the products page. For example, if I wanted to change the strategy of a particular item, all I need to do is grab the strategy ID. Under the name of every strategy, you have a strategy ID. And from here, I can just come here and copy and paste the new strategy ID. If I wanted to override cost, I could do that directly over here. I can override all the costs if I'd like to. If I wanted to add FBM shipping costs, I can add the FBM shipping cost and my mins and maxes as well. Once I finish updating the file, I can click save, come to the uploads page, and either click this button to access my files or drag and drop. And from here, we're actually mapping the fields. The required fields to map are the SKU and the sales channel ID. Whatever else is optional, aside from, of course, the fields that you want to update. So if you're just updating the strategy ID, what you can do is just X out everything else. So just to make things clean and only update the strategy ID field within the software. Continue, and then you can click make changes. Or yes, column mapping is correct, and that will be pushed through. However, I just want to walk through all the options available. So you have the ability to map your mins and maxes. So I can say this is my minimum, this is my maximum price. You can map the map price. You also have the ability to map cost information. On the left-hand side, you have your CSV column names. On the right-hand side is all the fields you can map to in our system. So I can just find cost and set cost. FBM shipping cost. Okay, this is FBM shipping cost. You also have repricing enabled. That would just be enabled. And you also have ability to edit shipping price, display declined, shipping package weight, length, width, and height, fulfillment override fees. If you want to override the fulfillment fee, or override referral fees or do a one-time price push, you would just add those to the actual file. You can essentially take any CSV, name the fields whatever you'd like, and then as long as you map them correctly to the Flashpricer, they'll get uploaded successfully and updated. But you can export directly from the products page, or you can download a CSV template. That's just a blank template and looks something like this, with the SKU and sales channel ID being required, and then whatever you'd like to update. So strategy, min, max, cost, repricing enabled, or shipping price displayed to clients. That's everything I have for you in this training series. We went through enabling repricing at the global level, creating and assigning strategies, and also assigning your mins and max prices and optionally cost to your products. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us at success@flashpricer.com. Thank you.